Going to and exhibiting at the fair is often a major highlight for some youth that may be participating at their community, county, or regional fair. For others, that may mean exhibiting at the North Dakota State Fair. No two fairs are the same, but they do share the opportunity for 4-H members to show their accomplishments within the year. In this presentation, which can be a refresher on what this is all about, or what do I need to know, we will cover the basics about what it means to exhibit, what to expect, how to find success in exhibiting, and what the awards mean. In 4-H, youth design and participate in their own projects and related activities. This unique learning by doing model teaches essential skills that youth will use throughout their lives. This can include identifying interests, desiring knowledge, setting goals, engaging in self-reflection, adapting to new situations, communicating and responding to the needs of others. Whether a young person builds a rocket, raises a companion pet, or plants vegetables, 4-H gives youth the skills they need to thrive and succeed throughout their lives. And exhibiting is a way to showcase all that was learned in the current 4-H year through the project work that may be shown through exhibiting static exhibits or live animals. It is important to know what projects the 4-Hers are enrolled in. 4-H helps youth learn life skills through hands-on projects. When youth participate in a project area, they increase their knowledge about a particular subject, gain life skills, build confidence, and learn by doing. They also have an opportunity to work with adult leaders and mentors. A project is simply a topic area that sparks a youth's interest. Projects may be done individually or in a group activity such as livestock judging, consumer decision making, camps, or participating in a livestock show or static judging day at your local fair. Projects are subjects the 4-H'er wants to learn about, such as horse under animal science, or food and nutrition, or aerospace, or objects they want to learn about or they like doing, such as leather crafting under creative arts, and many more. Check out the new 4-H project guide each year for any changes or addition to areas you may want to learn about. The project guides are found on the State 4-H website. Project enrollment occurs when you sign up in a program called 4-H Online in the fall. You will enroll in the project areas that you are interested in each and every fall. You may add projects, the areas of 4-H study, until spring. However, this may be different for each county. 4-H Online should not be confused with Fair Entry, which is where you will enter the exhibits you have made in your project areas you signed up for in the current 4-H year. We will talk about Fair Entry next. Exhibits can be the outcomes of what the 4-H'er learned about in a project area. A 4-H exhibit is an item resulting from the project work a 4-H'er has chosen to bring to a fair and have evaluated by a judge. They may be actual items to use or consume, like a cookie, or a report, or a poster made that demonstrates something the 4-H'er was learning about. It can be a live animal like a beef heifer, or a non-live animal exhibit also referred to as a static, such as a flower planter, or a photograph taken and mounted in a mat for the photography project. Exhibits can take several forms within a project area. Families will receive the North Dakota State Fair exhibit list that we will shortly talk about how to use. Exhibits are entered for evaluation through a web-based program called Fair Entry for local fairs or achievement days. Our administrative assistants will send out information and instructions on entering exhibits. Please pay special attention to the deadlines for entry. We suggest that if you think that you may show an exhibit but are unsure if it will be completed on time, go ahead and enter it anyway. You are not allowed to add entries after the deadline, but you are permitted to drop exhibit entries. This is good information for the parent or guardian as well as the 4-H club member to know ahead of doing fair entry and exhibiting on static judging or livestock showing day. You should show what you know. Think about what will make you feel successful. This might mean setting a specific goal. Think about what you may need to do to get ready ahead of the fair. Create a list of steps that you need to get done to be ready to show your exhibits. Think about the requirements that the fair might have or the finishing touches your exhibits need to be show ready. If you're not sure about what the fair requirements are, have an adult help you to look through your North Dakota State Fair exhibit list and your fair's premium book. The fair is your time to show off all your hard work. We do suggest in your first few years of being in 4-H, or in other words, the Cloverbud years, which are ages 5 to 7, try to enter 1 to 3 exhibits at the fair. When you are older, consider creating plans for the exhibits you will want to enter at your fair or achievement days. Pick the projects you want to enter. What exhibits will you be entering under the project areas? For example, if you're exhibiting a rabbit poster, you should be showing your rabbit, or you may be entering an animal science poster about your rabbit, or perhaps both. In any case, be prepared. Read your state fair 4-H division exhibit list to determine where your exhibits fit. You will note the project areas and class numbers. Note the class numbers are separated by ages. Make sure that you are recording the right class number when you are entering in fair entry. Read the premium book and get to know the fair entry rules for each exhibit. In certain project areas, such as glue solution or sewing, additional information may be required in addition to the exhibit you have prepared. Often there is no correct class in which to put an exhibit. Many items can be put in more than one class depending on how a 4-H'er would like the exhibit to be judged. For example, if a 4-H'er created a pillow with a particular design and fabric to match a particular room arrangement, he or she could put it in design decisions project instead of sewing. If you have questions about where to put an exhibit, contact the Extension office for help. Be sure you are enrolled in that specific project area. It is always nice to have on hand extra poster boards, binders, or folders, and matting. Note cards are useful to write additional information about your exhibit and can serve as a recipe card for food exhibits. Spray adhesive comes in many brands and does the best job for posters and matting, paper on paper. Tape is a must for securing string tags to drawing and painting and exhibits. A word about string: please don't use thread. It breaks easily and your exhibit might not be identified. They often break. Use string, not thread. Also, zip baggies, which come in a multitude of sizes, come in handy for securing and protecting the exhibit contents. One example to bulk up the size and protect a tiny object like jewelry is to attach the jewelry to a thicker backer board, like foam board, cut to size and placed in a zip bag for security. Consider bringing your toolkit just in case you need to make repairs or adjustments to your exhibit the day of the show. Proofread your report for spelling and grammatical errors before you print the final draft. Supporting information is often required in food and nutrition, photography, clothing, and visual arts classes. You will find the photo tag and food preservation processing tags on the Google Drive site identified in your State Fair exhibit list book, or contact the Extension office. Please remember to check with your State Fair exhibit list book, as some projects like glue solution require a note card that identifies which type of glue was used and why, for example. To ensure that your exhibit can be identified, each exhibit should have an entry tag securely attached with tape and string and not displayed on the back of the exhibit, as not to encourage the public to pick up the exhibit to look for exhibitor information. Never tape the exhibitor tag to the back of an exhibit, as it encourages the viewing public to handle your exhibit. You will want your tag prominently displayed. In Photo 1, note the jar of dilly beans in the food preservation project. This exhibit has a recipe placed at the back of this set of tags with the processing information label placed between the recipe and the exhibitor identification tag, which is placed on top. The tags are attached together with a piece of string knotted around the neck of a jar. In the second photo in the center, which is a project in the photography project, note that the tag is attached with a piece of string which is taped to the back, which you see in photo number 3. The string has been knotted to stop it from pulling through the tape. You will also note that the photography information has been attached to the back of the photo and the name of the individual. Please note that the tags are placed on the upper right hand of the exhibit. The 4-H'er's name is also printed on the back but is not seen in photo 3. Think about the exhibit tag placement on all of your exhibits. They should be at eye level if possible. On a large exhibit that might be standing or sitting on the floor, you would never attach it to the bottom or near the bottom of the exhibit, as it could get stepped on and the public viewer would not look down to see it. You will want to make sure that your exhibit tags can be seen by the public and that your exhibit tags are prominently featured. Have you ever wondered why some exhibits do better than others? In this slide, we're going to be talking about taking your exhibits up a notch. Labeling is important. Labels or accompanying material can be the difference between a rosette and a red ribbon. When there are 2 or more of the same exhibit, the labels and explanations can make yours stand out. Because 4-H is all about learning, your 4-H exhibit should tie into what you learned that year, or how you would use that item in your project. Labels help the judges and the public understand what you learned and what your exhibit is all about. So here are some tips for posters and displays. What makes a good poster or display? Well, the exhibit needs to meet the size requirements. Because space is limited at the North Dakota State Fair, posters should be no larger than 14 by 22 inches, which is 1/2 the sheet of standard poster board. Trifold display board should be no larger than 36 by 48 inches. Text should be well positioned and easy to read. Consider the size, color, and style choices contributing to easy reading. For example, rainbow lettering is hard to read. Text should be easily read from at least 6 to 8 feet away. Visuals are appealing and should reinforce or enhance your message. Visuals should be simple, compelling, and adequately sized and to the point. Layout should be attractive, not overcrowded, and there should be plenty of open space on the poster. You should use good design and art principles. White space is used appropriately, both around the margins and throughout the design. So in other words, give the lettering plenty of space. It should be neat and well organized. Color, text size, and design are used to highlight important information and attract attention. The poster should be well constructed and assembled. Any paper, again, this is where the spray adhesive can come in very handy because it securely attaches paper on paper, and this will hold up under long periods of display time. The member should also clearly define the audience for the poster. The message should be clear, brief, and direct. The purpose of the poster is clear: to promote, to inform, to call to action, etc. There should be evidence of new learning or skill development should be shown. Content is based on credible sources. Copyright rules need to be followed. Sources should have been cited either on the poster or in a write-up as necessary. Remember, always cite the sources you use on your poster, including sources for photos that are not taken by you. Notebooks and binders can be used in place of a poster. They can also be used as the exhibit themselves. They can be used as an accompaniment to an exhibit to explain the exhibit. So again, you can use a notebook instead of a poster. A notebook can be an accumulation of everything that you have learned in a year as well. It could be an in-depth study of a particular aspect of your project. Make sure that you include a front cover. Add a personal touch to the front cover of your binder. You can use a program like Canva to create eye-catching front covers. Canva has a free version that is easy to use. For fun digital art, you can check out Creative Market. The cover page should have an explanation what the judge will be seeing throughout the notebook, add a table of contents if it is appropriate, or a simple introduction and an explanation of why you chose to put together this notebook. With the sections, divide your notebook into the appropriate sections and chapters. Cite your sources. Don't forget to cite sources, very important. Here's some examples. Maybe some ideas pertain to certain projects can assist you to think about what you can build or make for your own project, such as herd management books, like for your pigs, cows, goats, chickens. You could do a comprehensive overview of what you learned in a project area, such as if you were doing something in woodworking, and maybe you learned about the types of wood, or you learned about costs of doing projects. It should be an in-depth study of one aspect of your project. It could be a manual, such as writing a survival manual for an outdoor survival exhibit. So notebooks and binders can be very useful as exhibits as well. The show is a 4-H event, and as such, the 4-H dress code will be in effect. Read your county book on dress code. Arrive early so that you have time to plan and you are unrushed. Fair books should include a schedule of when and where you will exhibit. I'm talking about the county fair books. Check in at the registration table to get your personal list and get further instruction. The volunteers and extension staff are there to assist you as you find your way around the venue and building, and will assist you getting your exhibits to the appropriate judge for your interviews. Yes, there will be lines. The extension staff and volunteers will direct you to available judges to get you through as fast as possible. Please be patient. Your turn will come with your judge. We will talk about the interview in the next slide, but make sure that the helper and judge records the interview results on your form. You're given this form when you enter the building, and it is your responsibility to keep track of that form. After you're finished with all your judges, please turn in the completed exhibit form to the registration table. All the exhibits need to be marked. If you have any exhibits that have not been shown that day, please cross them off on your list so that we know which exhibits are not in the building. Please leave the building when you are finished to help us with the traffic flow. We do get really congested, and it does help us and signal us to know who is done. 4-H judges look for evidence of the process a 4-H'er went through to plan and carry out their project. Most counties have interview judging for the local event. Interview judging is not part of the state fair judging. At the local level, this provides an opportunity for 4-H'ers to be able to explain to the judges how they prepared their exhibits. In case where a 4-H'er might not be able to attend static interview judging event day, 4-H'ers could enter exhibits to be judged absentee, which would require the 4-H'er to fill out an interview form with a written explanation to accompany each exhibit entered. These exhibits, you should be aware, cannot be considered for grand or reserve or honorable mention at the local fair or achievement day. But if they were to get a blue ribbon designation, they could go on to state fair and do well there. Please refer to your fair or achievement day county handbook for more information on interview judging and judging absentee. You may provide a written explanation to accompany the exhibit. Let's talk about the face-to-face interview judging and what the judge is looking for. Don't make the judge work to pull answers out of you. Make sure to introduce yourself and identify the project your exhibit was made for. For all exhibits, be prepared to explain. What did you plan to learn or do? What was your exhibit goal? What steps did you take to learn how to do what you learned to do? Explain what you wanted to do so that it is easily understood. The judge wants to know and understand the steps that you used to make your exhibit. They'll also want to know what was the most important thing that you learned. Judges might ask questions about your exhibit, and you should start thinking now about your answers before the day of exhibiting. Why did you select the project? Who helped you along the way? What did you do to prepare from start to finish? What challenges did you face making your exhibit? What was the hardest part? What did you learn by doing the project exhibit? The judge might ask you what you may have done differently if you had to do it all over again. And you might also share how you can use what you learned in everyday life through doing this exhibit. Remember, we do exhibits to demonstrate what we learned in the project area, so this is a great question for you to evaluate what you have learned and what you would like to learn in a project area. Some other tips: make sure that you are maintaining good eye contact. You don't have to stare into the judge's face, but looking at the judge from time to time engages them in your conversation about your exhibit. Make sure that you speak loud enough for your judge to hear you. Raising your head and maintaining good eye contact does help, but make sure that you're talking loud enough for the judge to hear you. Remember, the building can get quite loud at times, and you want to make sure that the judge is able to hear you. And again, having a smile makes you feel good about yourself, and in turn may reflect in your interview. You will not always agree with the judge's assessment of your exhibit. Neither you nor the judge is right or wrong. It may simply be a matter of preference. At the same time, judges should ask questions and give constructive ideas about how to improve your exhibit. And I'll put a reminder in here to make sure that your judge or your judge's helper has marked what your exhibit earned on your registration form. Next, we are going to talk about the Danish system of recognition, and the system recognizes and rewards young people for their efforts and projects. This system is designed to maintain the proper balance of competition and recognition. To be sure that we use it properly, we must understand its operational procedures and philosophy. What is the overall objective of the Danish system? Well, the Danish system is a method of evaluating class entries, project or exhibitors, and placing them in groups according to the standards developed for that class. The defined groups are designed to recognize youth for their achievement relative to a set standards. You see an evaluation form here that depicts the standards by which a crop exhibit is measured. Typically, you might see them because we use them with red and white level exhibits, although some blue ribbon exhibits might have them if the judge would like to comment about a blue ribbon exhibit. But it is used to teach the youth what they could have done to improve on the exhibit. For the blue ribbon, it might be a specific comment that the judge wanted to make on that blue ribbon exhibit. But we use it as a teaching tool, and it will be attached to the back of an exhibit tag. Why is the Danish system used in the 4-H program? The Danish system distributes awards among those participating, thus providing recognition for the maximum number of participants. It is understood that recognition is a basic need of all people, young and not so young, and public recognition can help to fulfill this basic need. The Danish system recognizes minor differences between two or more entries. This system allows for minor differences and attempts to provide opportunity for the maximum number of youth to be recognized. So how does the Danish system work? Well, an evaluation is made of each entry in a class. The class is then divided into groups. Consideration can be given to the age of the exhibitor, and if the class is evaluated for showmanship. They also might look at the number of years that a youth has been in a project area. A modified group method may be utilized where the entries, when the individual entries within a group are further ranked in relation to their relation standing within a group. So let's look at the color designation of the ribbons and what do they mean. And this is the award levels that are used in the Danish system. That we use the color of ribbons to signify different award levels. The 4-H development program awards ribbons in these colors. So for Grand Champion, And so anything that is superior, purple, lavender, pink, superior rating. A purple, lavender, or pink, depending on the county, is awarded to those entries that far exceed the average standard or meet the standard established for the particular class. This award indicates a near perfect exhibit. So in first place, you would have a grand champion. Usually this is a purple ribbon. It is the first place designation. In the second place, but superior, would be the reserve champion. So it is second place to a grand champion designation. In third place and superior to a blue ribbon could be orange, known as an honorable mention at a county fair, or green at a county level, or orange at state fair, which would be known as an award of excellence. So this would be a third place ranking superior to a blue. So it's over a blue, but it's purple, grand, reserve, pink or lavender, or then orange or green, third place, superior. Next ranked would be blue, which is excellent. A blue is awarded to those entries that exceed the standard, the average standard. This award indicates a certain degree of excellence that exceeds the average expectation. So it exceeds average and may be given to multiple participants. Next comes red, which is considered good. It is average. The red is awarded to those entries that meet the average standard or are slightly below the average standard established for that respective class. Reds are not bad. The general level of accomplishment means that it meets expectations, but it is less than excellent. Shortcomings may be found in certain aspects that cause this rankings, and that is okay. Remember, 4-H is about learning, and we all can do better. White is fair. The white is awarded to those entries that do not meet the average standard. The level of accomplishment is less than expected. A ranking of white is deserved due to the severe shortcomings of a good standard. So these are the awards that would be given to 4-Hers ages 8 to 18. For clover buds are awarded orange or green participations at the local level, and clover bud ribbons or clover bud awards exhibits do not progress to state fair. They also might be given tie-dyed mini rosettes as a future 4-H Grand Champion as encouragement. To close, I'd like to reference an article written by Jennifer Weichel from Michigan Extension. She writes, "Fair or Achievement Days is an event that requires effort on part of countless parents, volunteers, and leaders, but yields great rewards for those who can appreciate the smiles, laughter, and life lessons it offers our young people. In the magic of fair, I talked about what I see when I observed youth exhibitors at fair and the magic I feel the moment I step onto a fairground. The magic is real because it is my heart and soul as a 4-H alumni, parent, volunteer, or staff member. I invite you to take a moment and consider the following when you visit the next fair and look into the eyes of the adults who surround the exhibitors. Adults serve in some very important roles, and here are just a few of them. Supporter. Parents, volunteers, and leaders support the exhibitors and their families as they compete and participate. They offer kind and encouraging words to help them understand defeat and be humble when they win. They celebrate success and handle defeat, processing what may have been done differently to improve for the future when the time is right, not necessarily right away. Support comes in a variety of forms: a smile, an encouraging word, or a handshake. They can serve as cheerleaders. They are in the stands and on the sidelines, cheering on the youth exhibitors, anxiously awaiting the results and watching the judges to see how they placed in a class. Adults need to be careful not to interfere with the officials and distract members when they are competing. Coaching takes place before the event, not during the event. The best coaches know when to step back and let their players perform. Exhibitors are performing their skills learned when they are in the ring or presenting their project to the judge. Give them the time to shine. They also serve as teachers. Sometimes the teacher presents the most important lesson when they are silent and allow the student to learn for themselves. At other times, the teacher helps the student process all that has happened by listening, reflecting back, and conversing with the young person. A good teacher knows to adjust their technique to fit the situation and student. Adjust as necessary. Adults serve as role models. Be the example. It sounds simple, but is really hard, especially when you are tired and hot and on day 5 of a fair. And did I mention stressed out? Be the person you were meant to be. The kids are watching. We need you to be the role model who inspires them to be their best. When you're not up to the task, take a time out and defer to another adult. You expect the best from your members, so expect the best from yourself. Adult service helpers, holding the halter, carrying supplies, walking alongside, fetching more projects from the car so the child can stand in line to be interviewed and judged. This is the week when some of us need to step aside and assist because it is their project, the youth project, not ours. We need to ask what they need help with because we know they have it under control. We are simply there to be the driver and the helper. The bonus is that we get to take it all in and smile as we look on. This is your cue to beam like a proud parent or volunteer. You may see parents, family members, leaders, and volunteers in these roles and more. You may see them display signs of being nervous, proud, overwhelmed, or filled with a lot of emotion. After all, this is their child's moment in the spotlight, regardless if they're holding a rabbit, pillowcase, cake, halter, of a steer. They're waiting to hear the name of their child, the ribbon, and the look on their face. They know how hard their child has worked on that project and hope the stars will align for them in this moment when the judge decides what their rating will be. And you can read the rest of the article at the link showed here, or you can look it up. But thank you for participating, and we will see you at the fair. NDSU does not discriminate on its programs or activities on the basis of age, color, gender, expression, identity, genetic information, marital status, national origin, participation in lawful off-campus activity, physical or mental disability, pregnancy, public assistance, status, race, religion, sex, or sexual orientations, spouse relation to a current employee, or veteran status as applicable. Direct any inquiries to the Vice Provost, Title IX ADA Coordinator at Old Main.